Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are tuned in from. Welcome to another episode of What Now? It is Wednesday evening for me, so that means another guest, another inspirational and motivational hour. And I'm pretty excited about this guest because this is just legendary for me. Yes, I've interviewed a whole bunch of legends, but this is actually a person that's still up there and I hadn't been able to talk to. So as you can see down here in the pinned comments, I am talking to Mr. Keith Shocklee today, and I'm excited because this dude must have some stories, some knowledge, just years and years and years of experience. So I'm very excited to talk to him. I hope everybody is doing okay. It's been a tough week, but we're pushing through as always. We have no other option than to be okay. It looks like we're slowly opening up a little bit over here. We still are on a curfew, but I heard somewhere in the streets that our curfew may be lifted by the end of this month. So hopefully that is true because I want to be able to move around. Not that we really have anywhere to go to, but that's okay. Just the whole thought of having a curfew is just stupid. But yes, I see my guest has arrived. I'm so excited to talk to him. I've been waiting for this day. We've been scheduling this for a while. So I'm just going to get him in here. And whoever has questions, please make sure you put them in the question box so we can get to them. So excited. I'm so excited. Yes, I stay excited for my guests, to be honest. What's up?
What's up?
Oh my God, I'm such a fangirl right now.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I mean, I was just saying it. I talked to so many people in my career, and every time it never gets old when I'm in a position to talk to another great person in this industry. It's just this is why I love the culture. So thank you for making time.
Thanks for having me join in. I'm just another guy doing some things.
No, you can't say that. I'm not gonna let you get away with that one. I'm excited. Yes, I've probably met most of your friends and colleagues in the industry, but I've never had the chance to meet you in person or actually have a conversation with you. So I'm just honored to have you here, that you want to take the time out to talk to, my little old self.
No, come on. Pay, you've been doing a lot of stuff, and I've been checking out, your interviews, everybody you've been having, man. It's like, I'm just honored that you decided to do something with me. I'm kind of guy.
Great. Oh, thank you so much. It's always great to, to hear that people actually check out my stuff. But yes, enough with
one is because we're online, and I'm creeping and lurking in the background trying to figure out who's doing what.
Well, I mean, this is the time. This is the time for it. We're all online. We don't have anything else to do but, sit in the house. So we can click on everybody's bio and read whatever they've been up to. But I mean, you didn't need any introduction from me, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are tuned in based off of other guests that I had may not be related to the music industry or hip hop period. So it's very interesting for people to see new people that they don't know. Because you're still new to some people.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. Listen, I DJ on Twitch, and I be into the young DJs channel, and some don't, some don't, and it's cool. It's like, all right, this is good. So
must be refreshing for you too. Yeah.
And refreshing and expensive.
Well. Thank you again for being part of my motivational and inspirational series. It's been over a year that I started this when the pandemic started, basically to inspire and motivate people while we were all shut down. Even though in the States it's pretty much a little bit opened up already. I think that this is still a series that we can keep doing whether the world is open or not, because people always need inspiration and motivation and, get knowledge from people that they that they look up to, or, people that they want to, learn from. So my first question to my guests is always, how has this pandemic affected you personally and professionally?
Personally, I lost a lot of friends. That's personally, I'm dealing with that, and I lost two close ones. Not just it was during the pandemic, but not because of the pandemic.
Right.
That's the crazy part. One was my partner, who like we've been ever since we've been online. He's here working with me, streaming. And then he passed in October from high blood pressure, so I can deal with that. I can talk about that. And then another friend of mine's, you had on Shmello was another one.
Oh yeah.
You had Buddha on. Couldn't think
Yeah,
of it,
I had Buddha. Yeah,
Buddha
Buddha
on.
was
It was
talking about it.
that. And the other thing about Shmello was, you know, he wrote. I had him write the rhymes for Mike and Ronnie.
Yeah.
For the DVD project. So that's how we became. And then, you know, he was all with us during that 510 South Franklin clique. So when we were there, he was in the basement. I was like, Shmello, you want to write some rhymes? Because it was like, I'm trying to find out how Mike and them was. They come out and do edition. So I'm like, yo, so you want to write some rhymes? So I'm like, he said, like, yeah. So I got the perfect crew. And I'm always about somebody getting, you know, as writers with the right people. So Shmello was one, man. And when he passed, it was like, you know, and the crazy part where my partner that passed, my man Ozzy, that's the last time I saw Shmello, because he was at the funeral.
Wow.
And then
That's crazy.
His funeral was in the same spot.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it was like a whole nother thing that was crazy for me.
My condolences to you.
You know, and you know, we dealing with it, but it's, you know, we have to move on with a lot of stuff. So
yeah,
it is what it is. It is.
Well, I spoke to a lot of producers as well, and most of the producers were like, well, professionally, not much has changed because, you know, I'm always in the studio. I mean, we've been doing the digital recording and stuff, other than people having to go into the studio. How has that been for you?
So I got into the streaming as a DJ hard. Like, you know, I'm always DJing, and that's our first love. And you hear Chuck, and we talk about it. We came up from the DJ era from the 70s. So I got into this really hard, like as a DJ, when my crew was like, yo, you should just get online and start streaming like everybody else. So I said, all right, let's build it from this perspective. So when I got into more DJing, because I haven't really been doing production. DJ circuit,
more DJing, yeah.
And I connected with all of the DJs that I wanted to connect with. We all during the real world, everybody's doing tours. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing a lot of corporate shit. They doing things, so they're all moving around. I connected with everybody on Twitch. This is crazy. And then I just got into it from a whole new perspective of visuals. So I decided, like, I took that game. It's like, all right, we're on TV. So from that perspective, I'm gonna kind of shift it as a producer. Yeah, we got beats. I still got, you see the studio, I still got shit.
Right.
I'm still doing that shit. But I got into the visual aspect of DJing.
Right.
So I took my visual aspect and damn near make it look like it's 3D. So as you see, this is a green room, right?
Yeah.
I painted half my room. Yo, for y'all that's looking, I painted half my room green. So we can, so I have all
for your effects.
Yeah, so these visual effects. So that's why I said, you know, I made a joke like this shit got expensive, but that shit was like I got like 3 cameras and all this shit. And
it's investment. It's investment.
Yes. And so the biggest thing it's became I've had to learn about visuals because I don't have a team, and I'm on everybody's stream, from Jazzy, Jeff, Scratch, because we all cool. I'm on everybody's streams, and even the young ones.
Right.
Between me and my man DJ Buck Rogers, we're about the only ones. See my man Breaky Lou come through. We're about the only ones that's kind of doing this ourselves. Like, I work my own visuals, come up with the visuals, design them, then look for records, then DJ, build a set. Then at night, I got, on Saturday, this looks like a discotheque. I got lights. I got disco ball, disco ball, laser lights. I got smoke coming in this motherfucker. This shit is crazy. And then I fucking set off the fire alarms.
Oh, wow. So you
I
never
mean,
thought that you were going to do all of that, because
no,
normally when you DJ in a club or in a venue, they have all the effects, and now you
yeah,
got to come with the effects yourself.
yeah. So
Was
I'm
it
always thinking, ahead of the game. It's fun to me because I have the opportunity and the situation to do that. So I just decided, let me see how far I can take it. You know,
right?
it has gotten me into doing a lot of things with a lot of DJs. Now I'm getting back into production, because I spent a whole year just streaming and DJing, and then the tragedies, and I stopped, and I was
Right.
like all over the place. And then just this year, my first thing we had was my birthday, I guess it's called the birthday party. We did a birthday raid. So
Right.
we pulled up like four of my favorite DJs online. So from there,
That's the
we did a Twitch raid, and from there I just been in it hard. So going from 45s to digital. All I play on Tuesday nights, like last night was my 45 set. Saturday
right.
nights is my digital disco set, where it's like, I pay homage to how I came up. It's called the Disco Den. It was one of the first record pools I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And from then, see, I gotta give you the story, because we was DJs before beats came. So all that production and everybody was talking, that shit was nowhere near us in the fucking 70s.
Right.
Nowhere near us. So I
Right.
was like, you start DJing, because they know that's what we
No.
did since '75. So that's why I'm doing that. So producing was a offspring of DJing,
Right.
because we wanted to make our own records. So
Yeah.
within that, I've been having a great time. It's just me, my moderators, and I'm kind of safe. Well, I was kind of safe. I caught COVID for about a week, but
Oh
but
wow,
now
that's good though.
vaccinated and all that. So I'm good. I think, but one of the things, I know I'm talking, but I think this pandemic was a bad situation.
Yeah.
Then again,
Right.
business wise, if you know how to solve a problem, it's a great situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It brought everybody down to the same level.
And that's the thing. Like the reason I started this talk is because everybody's going through the same thing. Normally it's like, oh, what's happening in America? What's happening in Europe? But now it's like everybody's going through the same exact situation. And
Yes.
so how are people handling it? Are we going to sit there and be sad about it, or are we going to figure out ways to do things different? And that's, some people don't have that creativity, or they need more time. So having these talks with different type of creative people triggers people to think different and think outside the box and get ideas. And that's why it's supposed to be inspirational and motivational. But it's great to see you coming from pretty much the analog times to to the digital times, setting up your own green room.
We've kind of always been that, like, into the versions of we was trying to do the digital shit that we're doing now back during the analog days.
Right.
So it was like, we always, the crew, the Bomb Squad crew, my brother Eric, Chuck, Flav, Terminator, all of us, we always was pushing the limit on stuff,
Right.
Watching Marley Marl do shit and be like, yo, he did that. Yo, we got to do this. So that was a whole life experience, and just being the only ones trying to figure it out. And this is why I'm cool with not cool. It's being in this pandemic, we are figuring it out. All of us. You figured it out. Doing this now, yes, we're talking to each other now. We became closer. And a lot of things I do on Twitch, like we do these parties, like raid parties, we donate monies to certain things. There's monies to people that are homeless, medical situation. I do a lot of shit, sometimes I do a lot of shit with the American Heart Association, because 2 years ago I had a heart attack. So that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Survived.
We're happy you're here.
Yes, survived it. So, and that was a shock to everybody, because I'm kind of fit, and I had one anyway.
It can happen to anybody. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. So between that, understanding that, when what I had to learn to go through to deal with it, to change a lot of shit that I eat and deal with, and a lot of the shit was based on the fact that how we eat when we grow up in poor neighborhoods.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't, just what it is.
Yeah.
So,
the access to healthy food
yeah.
is a lot. It's not there really,
Yeah.
or it's harder to get to healthy food, and then
Yes.
also the expenses, obviously. So I mean, I guess that's the same everywhere because it's pretty much the same out here too. But talking about health, one of the questions I also ask is, have you changed anything about your health physically or mentally? But you coming out of a situation where you had to make that change already, have there been any other changes for you since the pandemic?
I'm gonna be straight, not much, because before my heart attack, I stopped the red meat, and during the heart attack, that was the cardiologist and the doctor's biggest complaint. Do you eat red meat? So at that time, I said, I haven't eaten red meat in like 12 years.
Right.
So I kind of did that, and I backed off on a good portion of the processed food.
Right.
I still got my sweet tooth. I still like my little candy.
I'm the same. Yeah.
But I've learned how to do shit in moderation.
Right.
Moderation, and this is what going through cardiac rehab. And the reason why I like to talk about the health shit, I'm 59. So that shit is like, when we get up in this age, we got high blood pressure.
Yes.
So when I went into the hospital, I didn't have high blood pressure and I didn't have high cholesterol. They're trying to figure out how the fuck this shit happened. So this is the thing I pride men, especially black men, to like, hey, you got to get checked. I got to get checked out again. So, the prostate and all that, especially when you get to my age, it's that. And how do you deal with that? And how do you, keep it going? And how do you just try to change certain things about
the habits?
Yes, the habits. It's hard.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
I love me some snacks. I love snacks.
We all love snacks. It's just, but it's what you said. It's in moderation, because honestly, when you are fit, anything can still happen. So making sure that whatever you are in control of, as far as your intake, is very important, because if you don't do that, then you definitely put yourself at a risk, especially after a certain age. Because I know I keep talking about it with people like, oh, you look so young and whatever, but I feel it too. I'm not up there with you yet, but I am up there, and people don't see it, but that has nothing to do with your insides, So I had to quit, the meats and everything, and I'm lactose intolerant, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that you now at a later age really feel when you were ignoring it pretty much when you were younger.
Yes.
And so you're very much more aware of it. Sitting in the house during the pandemic, have you changed anything exercise-wise?
No, not really. I go out for my walks. When it's warm enough, summertime, even last summer, I rode my bike back and forth to my studio. Been doing that, which is good. Good exercise. Those exercises. I don't go to the gym. Every now and then I'll get into my yoga.
Right.
Like Russell. Nah, not that deep, but. But I get into the yoga, stuff like that, and sometimes I need to balance, but then sometimes I go crazy, because now sometimes you gotta move around and do things and make it happen, and shit gets smaller. You're trying to figure out where's the next check coming from.
Yeah,
because we're in a spot where we're in a business where it's hard to come by if you don't have other things lined up.
Right.
All the cats got real estate happening and stuff like that. That's all good, but at the same time, some of us DJs, or I've learned and met a bunch of DJs. That's how they made their living.
Right.
So it becomes that situation. Hold on one second. Hey, hold on one second. Hey, Ken, could you close the door? Both doors? Yep. Sorry,
It's okay. Don't sit on that draft.
B-room. I got my man Cam and
what you were talking about. What you're talking about is definitely also mental health, because the pandemic has not only taken lives with infections, but a lot of people have been mentally stressed to the point where they lost their livelihoods, their businesses that they build. And I actually know a few people in the industry that have committed suicide, and that's an indirect effect of the pandemic that is not taken into consideration by all these governments shutting all the businesses down, which I think is still an issue because over here we're pretty much still in a lockdown compared to over there. So it's taking a lot from people mentally. And so, you know, staying creative and staying busy and staying positive is very important. So you definitely have a point.
And a lot of that is who you surround yourself around. You know, you can surround yourself, you know, with negative people, and it's not nothing to say about that. But sometimes other people that every time you talk to them, everything is always bad and bad. You gotta find some good in something. It's rough, yes, but you gotta find some good in something to keep you, you know, to keep you motivated, to keep you active. You know, this pandemic is like, I mean, some people found, you know, in making more music, it kept them going. So if that's your thing, keep it there. If service is your thing, and that keeps you going, helping other people. That's why, like, when I do these stream raids with other DJs, the cause is just something. I don't, if it's not for a cause to raise money for people that can't provide for themselves, what the fuck are we doing this shit for? You know?
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree because, I mean, the reason I started this, I was talking to a DJ, Skeem Richards, about, you know, people being all down and depressed and nobody knows what to do. So this is the conversation that I wanted to have with people, just if it was for an hour, to uplift people, even if it's just for this moment. You know, it may make a complete difference on somebody's day, tuning in and catching some of the positive energy that I hope to spread with these talks. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback from that, and it helps me. Initially, I did it for others, but I found that I help myself with this as well, because I get inspired. I get motivated by these talks. So it's, you know,
I get motivated by people like you asking me to come on.
Well, that's great.
Because I talk about my wild, dumb, crazy life.
Oh, no, we want to know everything. This is the time that we want to know about that. And, you know, there's so many regular artist interviews about, you know, what did you do and what is that and what is your success. I just like to know about the people. Like, how are the people moving? What are their stories? And that to me is the inspiration part, especially if you have certain years on you. I mean, you know, there's people that tune in that are in this business for maybe 2 years or 5 years, and they want to know how it was and how you move and what advice you have. So this is a nice segue into that. What was for you the defining moment in your life, if there was one or maybe many, that you were like, I'm going to do this for a living. I'm good at this. I'm going to make my money with this.
Russell gave me my first check for a remix.
I love these stories.
It was like, you know, we was working jobs and doing this shit, you know, because this was at a time where, you know, hip hop was still in, like, it was a fad phase, you know. DJing was a fad phase, and nobody really like, how you gonna sustain and blah and da. And I had a daughter just coming out of high school. You need to get a job. And I had friends getting real jobs, like riding around in cars with the IBM and all this shit. And, you know, and then I went and got a real job. And I was like, well, I always had one, but I had to go get a real one. Like, support, you know. And then, you know, when the deal got signed with Def Jam, and the crew said, come on, man, let's do something, let's go. And I sat back, okay, all right, let's go.
Let's make this the job.
And then I was at my job, and it was crazy. I'm working for Nassau County, and I'm a driver delivering mail for the commissioner and all these motherfuckers. And when I'm working in the studio, I got to be to work at 7 in the morning. I got to pick up the building. So you got to understand, we're leaving the studio 2 in the morning, and it's in Manhattan. Got to take the train. Didn't have a car. Got to take the train or wait for the train. And that's like, you know, that shit is like forever. So out of the first 3 months when we was working hard and it's back and forth in the studio, I wrecked 3 cars because I fell asleep. As I was driving. And I was like, yeah.
What did they say?
Yo, when you work for the county, it's like a family job. I got it because my mom's and my sister-in-law worked there, and my cousin worked there. That's how you get there. They don't fire you.
Right.
You gotta have you gotta do something bananas to fire you. And then at the same time, the lady that hired me was from the same town we went. Me and her kids went to the same school. So it was like, Keith, okay, you done wrecked 3 cars. We know you're doing your little music thing.
Right.
So we're going to move you into the building where you don't have to drive no more. And we're going to cut your time down so you can get some rest. I was like, okay.
That worked.
I got less money, but it worked out. And then then the work started to become so much. And I had to make a choice. Like, I took a leave of absence. I'll never forget this. I took a leave of absence. And they said, well, you want to take a leave of absence? Cool. This was the first winter tour that Def Jam was doing. PE was headlining. Chuck said, was like, yo, all right. Chuck and the crew said, all right, come go do the sound. I did the sound for the whole tour. And then, after that, the shit was cool. And when I went back, it was like going into I think it was going into like 89 or some shit. And I just told the job, I'm not coming back.
Peace out.
I'm not coming back. This is kind of good. This is kind of good. But after the tour stopped, then we had to make money in the studio.
Yeah.
That didn't come quick.
You're like, now I got to do this because I already said that this was it.
That was it. So we had to do this. We had to figure that shit out. So, I used to have a Caesar. Caesar was a low haircut.
Right. Yeah.
We wasn't making no money in the beginning, the first few months.
And then
almost the first year, I grew an afro. It's cool now, but it wasn't cool then.
Right.
So I had to do that shit, man, and that was like, okay, either we gonna do this or we not.
Right.
That's when it came. And at the time, it still wasn't like a super career move, So it's just something that we started doing. And when Chuck and them was on the road, me, Hank, and Eric, we was trying to figure out how we gonna sustain in the studio.
Right.
Because they're on the road making money. We're in the studio.
Work on the next project.
Trying to go on the next project. And at that time, they giving you $1,000 for all-in project.
Right.
That means studio cost, engineer,
everything.
If you got money out of it, it's like $1,000. We like, shit, we got a studio. And plus, we
got a
still
budget.
had another studio that we had our production going on in. So, it just happened to work out.
Yeah, you made it work. You made it work. Yeah, we wouldn't be talking if you didn't.
Yeah, and gracious fans wouldn't be like, oh, we didn't. But man. There was some times, boy, where it was like looking crazy for us, especially coming out of high school.
Yeah,
this wasn't even existing.
But it's you're talking about how back then it was like, you do your little music. I mean, I even got that, and I'm not an artist. My mom was like, maybe you got to quit your music shit and, you focus on your real career. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us had that back then, but it's different now because, first of all, everybody can do independent work no matter what industry you're in. There's so many self-employed people now in all aspects of, of life, that going into music is not as crazy anymore as back in the day. It's like you can do your hobby, but and then my dad is a musician, so I was like, why are you guys on my case about it? Because Dad, you're a musician. So that was always weird. But how was it for your family when you were like, okay, I'm gonna do this?
I almost got to get out of the house. I almost got to fucking get out of the house treatment, man. Like, it was, when we had the DJ shit, my mom kicked us out like, y'all motherfuckers run up my bill. Y'all ain't paying. Y'all like, well, I want this out. And when we got our spot, but it was like that. It was like how this shit's gonna work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't see the struggle.
No, exactly.
I used to get the stuff about us. They just thought we just got picked up and got signed. No, fuck no.
And that made millions.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, that doesn't work like that.
We got signed out of you'll hear the story from Chuck and everybody. We got signed out of. We had a radio station.
Right.
And during those times in New York, and you had your own radio show, everybody had to get to your show to promote their records.
Right.
And we were still DJing. So, and then the closest crew was the Queens crew, running them. And then Def Jam was close. And then, there's guys like Bill Stephanie. And there's tons of us that helped build this with us, man. I don't take the credit for nothing. I take the credit for being silly. But everybody built this, from the leaders, us, and there's Jay, Jay and all that. We just had a connection that we did a lot of shit. So, and that was earlier stage, we had WBAU. I mean, there's a lot of other radios. There was a few other radio stations, but BAU was the hottest joint. So,
but this is why, I know that it's just little old you, but this is why I do, get excited talking to people like you, because a lot of people in the industry today, hip hop today, don't understand the way you guys, paved the way for what's going on today. And that is something that I feel like has to always be addressed. I mean, know your history, but also just know that it was a struggle, and it may still be a struggle, but it was definitely made easier to move around in the industry today. Even in this digital world, you can just put out your own music without having to be signed. That was not the case back then. So, or getting your stuff played on the radio. I mean, I had a radio station, so
that was crazy. Chuck always sums. Chuck's a great. He comes up with great phrases. I'd be like, man, how you think? It's in the game was you have the creators, the game changers, and the players. So players are what they're doing now, because now this is accepted. This is a $1 billion industry, and it ain't going nowhere. But in those beginning times, even I'm going back to Flash and them, and Cold Crush Brothers and all that. That was, that was like, oh shit, we can get to travel doing this shit.
Right.
That was that. And then when we came along, and the Marleys and all of us coming in, that was like, yo, they letting motherfuckers put music out. It's like it becomes a whole nother thing. Yeah. It becomes a situation where it's like, oh, this shit is exciting.
Yeah.
Now this is a way
of life.
Something. Now this is a way of life.
Yeah.
I saw it come from nothing to DJ school.
Right.
To this is being college courses, and there was nowhere near the shit when we was in there.
Exactly.
So it's a great thing. It's taught everybody how, what it should do and how to make a living, how to be your own independent person.
Right. Yes.
Without, I don't think if hip hop wasn't there, nobody would know how to be their own independent person. Right. Because we had to do everything on our own, on the streets. And this was before the records, before they were signing artists. So as DJs, and that was the first shit. So everybody can't get it twisted. It wasn't the MCs, it was the DJs.
Right.
So that's where we come from. I mean, Chuck, we broke it down at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We a DJ culture.
Yes.
So don't, and then when people see me DJing, they're like, oh my God. I say, I'll show them a picture of me in the 8th grade DJ. This is 74, 75. Right. And when they see that, they're like, oh my God, you was that young? Yeah, but I had on the old school Flag Brothers shirt from the old Pimp show, old Pimp movies.
Nah, you're absolutely right. So you're absolutely right about that.
It's that long and that deep.
Yeah.
How it goes down, and those stories comes from the Bronx and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
People, I'll debate my Bronx people all day long. And they know they can't forget about the Brooklyn DJs that was putting it in. So those are the things that I tell people, want people to know that is that. Then there's the Queens DJs that put it in. The Bronx DJs was there, but the Bronx was getting it from the MCs perspective. And don't forget about the Harlem motherfuckers. And I can go on for days in our culture.
Let's try to move into the next section. The next chapter, because I'm sure when I talk to people like you with these stories, with this history, with all these years, I can't do this in an hour. We need like 24 hours at least. But
we need this. Well, we can do it online. We can do it. Let me stop.
We are doing it online. No, we can do a follow-up at some point. I'm sure that'll be great. But what I really want to know is, especially you talking about you had to learn as you go. You know, you have to make this industry become an industry, especially hip hop being new and not really accepted as, you know, okay, this is an industry, this is a genre. You had to create the business of it. What are some of the biggest, I call them mistakes, that you made that turned out to be the biggest lessons in this industry that you now teach the young ones as well?
Wow, that's kind of, and everybody back in the days that got in this from the beginning, I'm just a cog in
Right.
this wheel. So I don't want people thinking I'm just a cog that.
Right. You speak from your experience.
Yes, through my experience.
Yeah.
I think understanding what this business is now is online. Like, we didn't know shit about publishing. What the fuck was that?
Right.
And when you didn't know nothing about that, you're green. It's not a thing. And I can't say that the biggest mistake that we learned, because I think the biggest mistake that we I don't even know if it was a mistake, but
yeah, it's a lesson.
Not jumping into it would have been a big mistake.
That's a good one.
Getting involved into it would have been a big mistake. I think that's the lesson from my perspective of when we came in, not getting into it. Like, we got friends that was like, oh, like I said, this is a fad. That'll never work out.
Right.
Those things, when people tell you that you can't, and you have a good perspective of where it's going, to keep it going. That's where I think how it works.
Right.
And I won't say that we did any bad mistakes. Anyway, I can say that all day long. No bad mistakes.
Everybody, that's how you learn.
Yeah, the bad mistakes is not trying. That's the bad mistake.
Yes,
not trying.
I agree.
Even if you're in your own mind, like, my shit is the greatest shit on the planet. Okay, you got that. Cool.
Yeah.
Now you got to prove to everybody that your shit is the greatest shit on the planet. Now, do you have that? Do you have that aspiration?
Yeah.
To prove to everybody that you have the greatest shit.
Yeah. No, that's you know what, I think especially in this time, this is the time now also to start doing things that you've always wanted to do. I mean, if you're now in a position where things may have, fallen apart or maybe don't work out as you want, do the things that you want to do. Because, well, also having all these people, falling down and falling apart, or even, dying around us, do what you want to do. Take that chance. There are no failures. You learn from it. You do up your experience to get better. And I think that's one of the reasons why, and I've talked to more guests about it, is how I've been able to handle this pandemic somewhat, because I've always had challenges in my life. So this was kind of like, oh, here's another one. I was trained to deal with this. Yes. And when you are not scared to fall, then you reach your goals.
Yes.
You can't reach your goals if you don't try.
Yes. And that's the thing. You said one thing, if you're not scared to fall, because you're going to fall.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's not one person that didn't fall in any kind of business.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen anybody that when they started a business, it just flourished and it blew up and it was all good.
Yeah, nobody.
I haven't seen anybody that did that. And if there are somebody that's done that, please, somebody let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Who did that?
Hit me up. Let me know how you did that.
Who did that? So without failure, you don't know where to go. Don't be afraid. I tell people, I tell the young ones, don't be afraid to fail. You got some people that's so afraid to fail that they don't make a move. Yeah. And they're so afraid to fail that when they fail, they're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And
then they quit.
Yes. And then they quit. I can't do this. Nah.
Yeah. No, that's not the way. Having worked with so many people, I'm not even going to mention all the people. What was for you? Who were some of the people that really inspired you to be better and to, learn more and to, to do the things that you do now?
All of them.
That's a great answer.
All of them.
You learned something from everybody.
Everybody's different individuals. You learn from all of them. I've learned from. I'm just so grateful to work with all of them, even the ones that didn't have super success.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
I was grateful to be there. Like I get pissed at this business, but I ain't going nowhere. It's like a bad marriage. I'm mad at you tonight, I love you tomorrow, baby.
But that's part of it, though.
That's part
Everybody
of the game.
in this industry has to have that moment. I've tried
Yep.
to quit 5 million times already, but I can't because, you know,
tried.
this is what I do.
Yep. Because you reflect on, I've been doing this, shit, like almost 35 years. What else I'm going to do? I said, if I have to get a job, I'm going to go work at Starbucks because they got good benefits.
Well,
and I love my lattes, and I'm good.
but you know what? You're never going to have to because you're
Yeah.
doing great and you're still living out your passion and your dream
Yeah.
and something that you're passionate about, at least. And that's the same with me. Like, I'm not trying to have a job. I will struggle and grind as much as I can in this industry to not have a job because I love what I do.
And between that, when you have that passion, you start to have passion for other things.
Yeah.
Like within this business,
Yeah.
teaches you service.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And what happens is when you really love it, and yeah, everybody wants to get paid. Okay, you don't get paid, what you going to do? Okay, you getting paid. What are you doing? What are you doing when you get paid?
Paying it forward. Yeah.
You paying it forward, or it's just like, I ain't making a move till you pay me.
Right.
You know, some people in it for that. Some people aren't. I'm in it just because I just like being in it.
Right.
You know, it's
Same.
like, whether I'm getting paid or not, it's some shit I just do just because I just want to do it.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I don't have to stream.
This is my 94th talk. I didn't make a dime off of this. I'm doing it because I love to do it. I'm not getting paid.
I'm here and you're not even paying me. What? Why?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that.
Yeah.
It's that because you love it.
Yeah.
And what do you love and what are you passionate about? And if you love money, okay, then just get it the right way.
Yeah,
we know
go over
the
that
ski
body.
mask way.
Yeah.
We know the ski mask way, but no, just get it the right way. You know?
Yeah, but also don't shove away everybody that helped you get there, and you know, take care of the people that helped you. Like you said, you're not going to take credit for everything. You did it with a team. It was a team effort.
It's team effort.
Yeah,
team effort. You know, I fucked up a lot of ways going along the ways too. So
yeah,
don't let that shit get it twisted.
Right.
Yes, with I lost a whole year of supplies of beats because somebody broke into the car because I didn't take it out of the car fast enough.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The crew was ready to choke me and hang me.
Yeah.
I did that shit. So I'm not I ain't afraid of that kind of shit that has happened. And I'm like, oh.
Shit happens, you know.
Shit happens.
Shit happens.
Don't know. Shit happens hard.
Yes.
So, those things, man, I had pitfalls, drug addiction and all that shit. So it's like, that's why.
With fame comes a lot of responsibility or something.
Joe. Yeah. Fucking drug addiction got me a felony charge, and I thought I would never have in my life.
Right.
I'm not that dude. I became that dude. So I talk about my shit because I know where I've been. I know what I've done. And I like to talk about the hard stuff that I had to learn.
Right.
The good shit is already, that's cool. We can talk about the good shit, like what it was being in the studios with people. But me personally, what it was when motherfuckers couldn't find me for a week because I'm out there getting high. This ain't nobody. See, everybody, motherfuckers be like, really?
Yeah, really?
Really? Yeah.
But even being part of a group, of a crew, or whatever, it's especially now, it's like it's not a lot of these groups that are still together because of some shit that happened, or it's that camaraderie also that is important. I mean, we always talk about relationships, keeping relationships good, and that being the foundation of having a great career or being successful. And I don't talk about money, but just, being a good person and making sure everybody around you is good and being able to hash it out as adults instead of letting fame or money ruin those relationships.
You know what? Unless you really, sometimes, I have an issue with that too, but then sometimes people just grow apart.
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
Is that, but, I don't, and it's hard for me to speak when the fame and the money becomes a problem and people don't see that. And then, lot of it's certain people's nature. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, I get mad over certain things. I don't hold a grudge, but I can hold something for a minute. Then after a minute, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Right.
All right, what's up? And then I can come back and be like, okay, we're good. But then if somebody's detrimental to you, that's when you really gotta like sit down and make a hard decision,
right,
of whether to stay there. You know,
because you gotta protect your own energy.
Yes, you still have to protect you. Yeah. Because if you can't save yourself, how you gonna save somebody else?
Right. Yeah. You got to be good in the first place. Something lighter. You've seen a lot in this industry. You've been everywhere. Give me a funny anecdote that happened with you. It could be a groupie incident. It could be like it could be anything. I want to hear something memorable. Just one thing. I'm sure there's thousands.
I'm trying to think, man, because I don't know if I have one thing. Now, see, when you put me on the spot like that to make me think, this is when I have a problem. I'm trying to think. I mean, me and Flavor, our bond is crazy. We always have hilarious shit that happens.
I'm sure. That's why I want to hear something.
And then he has hilarious stories that happens when I'm not around. Because I wasn't always around the time them doing things in the studio. I'm in the studio on tour.
On tour, yeah.
But I'm always in the studio. I mean, we growing up, meeting them, like we used to do some crazy shit. But I mean, I'm trying to think of something that was funny.
We can park it.
That, like I am drawing a blank on what happens.
It's okay. We park it. We'll come back to it. We'll come back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what, like now. But if I'm in the mood and shit pop in my head, I got a little tequila going on. Funny shit comes out. Funny shit comes out.
Well, that'll be for the follow up then.
That'll be for a follow up.
Yeah, we'll do the follow up. I have a question from Buddha actually. Buddha asks, could you please explain the concept of clamp for those who don't know? CLAMP.
Clamp?
Yes.
I don't know the concept of clamp.
Drawing another blank?
CLAMP.
Buddha, do you want to come in here and explain
Buddha,
to us?
You want to answer that question?
Yeah, I mean.
That one got past me. I'm not a historian in hip hop. I just like it.
Well, Buddha's not even in here anymore, so I'm gonna have to park that question as well, because I was gonna get him in here. Let's move on to my next question. Again, having worked with so many people already in the industry, are there still people on your so-called bucket list that you would love to work with?
Yeah.
And who? Mention a few.
Shit, my bucket list is long. You know what I want to do? I would love to work with Meth. Break Me Loose is another one, and he's dead up. That's dead up.
Wait, aren't you guys already doing something?
Yeah, we talked about it. We ain't set it up yet, but that's one. He's one. Who else, man?
This is easy. I'm sorry. This is easy because I always say speak this into existence for people. You know, if this happens. But Break Me Loose easy. You can thank me for that now. I'm kidding.
Break Me Loose, it's easy, but there's a thing with Lou because the reason why I say even though he's a producer and doing some shit because I call him the godfather of finding the break beats.
Oh yeah.
No, we didn't survive without him doing that. And that got everybody into digging.
Yes.
That's my opinion. So anybody can challenge me
That's
on that.
most people's opinion.
Anybody can challenge me on that, but that's my opinion. So without that, and even as a DJ, as playing shit like, he used to put all the records in, and we got vinyl. Sometimes you can't find vinyl. Some you just want that. You don't want the whole shit. You want a whole bunch of them shits. That's one. Artists like, man. A$AP Ferg is one.
Oh, right.
I would like to see what I can.
That's dope.
See what happens.
I would like to see what happens.
Weird shit would happen.
Yeah.
I'm in a new weird space. And I know he hangs out with me, but March would be one. Farrell March would be one.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, March would be excellent.
I will go back to my man. We was messing around with some stuff about a year ago, but my man LL, LL, he's still in the grind.
Oh, these are excellent people. I would love to
a QB union would be dope.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, please.
I'm just going in because
everybody's
like is out of the zone, but they're still in the zone, but they're out of the zone. But being online, even the landscape of music has changed. It's like I'm watching some of the younger kids get into more older classic stuff. And remakes, and they're remaking the older stuff, so the whole level has changed. I like to handle if I could do a J. Cole. That would be.
Oh wow, yeah, man. You're mentioning all the people that I would love to see you work with. Yeah.
You know what I like to put in the same room together? Chuck and KRS. Me doing it. Yeah. and taking that to a place where it's more art, but boom bap, and something that's kind of really artsy, but has the history of a boom bap and very experimental. Now, if anybody knows what the fuck that I just said, tell me, let me know. But it's now, and I'll probably put it up on an NFT. Wouldn't even just. Let me know,
man. Well, I'll keep track of that.
I wouldn't even just like this is one class, one person. It's one person.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like honestly, I don't think these collaborations are hard to speak into existence. I mean, crossing Lou off the list, I think everybody else is pretty much up for it. If you know, if you reach out to them, or hell, I'll reach out to them for you and say, hey man, this needs to happen.
This is happening.
I'm kind of surprised you haven't done anything with Monch yet.
Because we always around each other. I never, but no, he's like, I've recorded him.
Right.
He's intense, and he's like that dude that,
I know him. I know him personally. So yeah, I know how he is. But I also understand if you're around people a lot, then you're like, oh, we'll get to that. It's not necessarily like something that you need to do because you're always around each other. So I could definitely understand it from that point of view.
So that's one of the things, man. And I just like, because I just want to do something mad experimental, and I don't know what it is. It's a combination of a lot of shit, and it's jumbled in my head, but something that's.
Are you putting it?
But it still has to have that bottom to it.
Are you putting that type of stuff, that the ideas that you have already, like, are you working on that?
I push it down.
Why not dabble with it?
When I get it, like, oh, I'm just sitting there and put some shit down. But mainly, I've been fucking around with the next world,
right.
The next world of visuals and music and DJing. That's and it's and I wouldn't be online DJing if I didn't I just can't sit and just DJ.
Right.
I'm in a room. I gotta give a motherfucker an experience. That's why I tell motherfuckers I'm a visual artist that happens to play music in the background, because I look at that into the next world like watching The Mandalorian.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh my God. Yep.
Like, I am a stickler for visual concept, especially when we're online. I don't play. I'm like, yo, bring your game up to here, and cause that shit can turn into a Netflix project.
Right. So do you feel like you're still, I mean, you put your show together, your virtual DJing show together. What are some of the things that you're still trying to figure out and get it to another next level?
You know what? I'm still figuring all of it out. This is new for everybody.
Right.
So it's like, we're more than just it's almost kind of like merging seriously the art visual world with the music DJing world. We're in that zone. We're in the zone like they did with the what's that kid? The Van Gogh building.
Right.
The Vanguard. We're in that world now.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of space. But the problem is, ain't nobody putting music to that kind of shit where that makes sense. That keeps it in a zone where it's like, okay, I can feel this and I can see this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny? Ever since the pandemic started, I've seen pretty much all my DJ friends do that. Like they started with just DJing with their regular backgrounds.
Yeah.
And then from one day to the next, everybody had shit going on. Like, whoa, like and it was so perfect with the music, the sets they were playing. It's so creative. I'm like, that's like almost cooking and knowing exactly what flavors match and which don't.
Yes.
It's the same with the music and the visual. It's not just playing videos or anything, but it's actual effects like that stimulate and uplift the music and vice versa.
Yes. So I don't know what that is, but that's where we are.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be shaped because, let's be straight. I don't think we're going back to the 60,000 people in the stadium in a while.
Yeah, no, I don't think
that's not happening. But what has happened is online, the digital world is starting to coexist with the physical world.
Yeah.
In one. So you're going to have people like, I ain't going to that club tonight. But at the same time, while that club is popping, they're streaming at the same time to their set and to their audience that's watching them that can't get to you. Exactly. I got to everybody online.
Well, and on top of that, what I love about that is me being in Amsterdam, I can now go to the club in New York or to the club in LA or wherever. And that is something that I think is great because, and then I don't have to, I'm getting old too. I don't necessarily want to be in the club. I can just do it from the bed, just tune in.
Or you got a big screen, invite some of your friends over.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting down. There's a party.
Exactly.
It's that, and if we're talking about that now, the other side is like, okay, as a DJ, how do you monetize that? You still.
Oh no, that's already easy to monetize because that's ticket sales.
Yeah.
So instead of being stuck with maybe a capacity of 1,500 people in the club, you now have unlimited tickets to sell online because my artists have been doing live stream shows already with online ticketing. So it's pretty much better for the promoters as well if you do the streaming.
Yes, that's the thing. So now building that together and understanding because that's where we are, that's where it's going, that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think everybody needs to get out ahead. Once this pandemic is over,
once this pandemic stays.
It's a part of our lives now.
It's the new normal. It's the new normal.
It's the new normal. And a lot of people don't want to hear that.
Yeah. No, I've already accepted it. I just need to be able to.
I accepted it. When we was on lockdown? Last April?
Last year. Well, we were March. Yeah, March last year.
March. March. I accepted this shit in April. And then, this is it. This is it.
A month later, like, all right, cool. Yep. Let's get it popping from this side.
I accepted it then. I mean, people, it was to look at situations real. That's why I accepted it because this is not going anywhere. But now we're learning how to live with it.
Yeah, we're learning how to navigate and how to deal with
it. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay. Showing people how to navigate through this.
Yeah.
I call that solving a problem. We can sit about and talk about like, so what you been doing? Okay. What you been doing? Okay, how do we navigate through this shit?
Right.
Well, I got this situation that I've been developing.
Right.
Here, and let's see what we can help to build that. So that's where I'm at.
And that's what these talks are for.
Yes.
So to give people the ideas and trigger their minds to think out the box and create different situations that work and that stay working even if you have your old situation come back. You need to have more situations working for you in any type of world.
Yep. And mind you, it's all in the beginning stages.
Yes, we're
so
still
people don't think you're gonna you got an idea. You're not the only one with that idea because we all locked down.
Yeah.
So I'm on the board of a couple of platforms, and everybody got the same one. So I'm just trying to figure out how that's gonna work. Everybody's doing that. So now it becomes who you can bring to the table
Right.
that can help that situation.
Right.
And then you better know your game. No more of the games of people like, I know I'm being draftful right now, right? But I'm going to be real. No more of the games of the people that's hanging around you getting paid.
No.
Because that's out of here. Who's going to actually be around you and work and come up with new ways to invent
and to differentiate to differentiate from the same platforms that are having the same ideas, because I don't say that there's only room for one. There's room for many of the same, but you have to make sure that you have your audience and that you have, you know, something that triggers them to go to your platform instead of the competitors. That's who you have to stick around with. That's the gaming world. And building your audience and sticking with it, and not like, well, this shit ain't work for me in 3 months. Really? Well, honestly, I thought I was going to do this thing for 3 months. Here we are, over a year later, on to the 100th talk, and I'm having fun still. There's a plethora of creative people that inspire and motivate. So I'm not done yet. And and I'm also finding out how to monetize this. So I'm good. That's what we all are. We're individuals, but we just have to all work together as one, because this is what it's about, you know. And when you stepped into when y'all get into the meta universe, which is another world, they're about one love, and they're about taking down the corporation. they ain't playing. They ain't playing. That meta universe ain't playing. And the meta universe is not, it's somebody's mind. It's a real place. It's reality. It's reality. And we need to learn about cryptocurrency and all of that. I'm here to give motherfuckers the real shit, like cryptocurrency and tokens and non-fungible tokens and all that. That's the next new world. That's exactly. We're already moving into that world. There's already an overlap. So I was on the Clubhouse, and they're talking about banks already got departments for that shit. So when the banking system get into this, it's real. It's going to stay. And if everybody still don't understand what that means, y'all gotta like read. There are people out there that teach you. Y'all gotta get up on it, because all right, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but you better be prepared. It might happen in 2 years. You better prepare yourself. That's how quick it's moving. Because that platform and that money people are making on there, it's real. So, you know, it's understanding that and how it works. Man. And just like that, we're an hour further. It's like, you know, like I said, I would need at least 24 hours to talk to you, because I haven't even asked all the questions that I wanted to ask, but that's okay, because we can do a follow-up at some point. We can do a follow-up. Hey, we can do a follow-up, because just to let everybody know, I'm into the meta universe, and I call it, it's that, and just working with that in the physical world. Because that's why people say, what have you been doing? Sometimes I can't even explain to them what I've been doing, because if they don't see a end to the means, they don't understand. I don't get that. What is it like? What should I do what are you doing? What is that money? Well, what does that mean in money? You have to really get educated on that. And there's a lot of people that actually do, you know, give out that information and the knowledge and have conversations, even on Clubhouse. But yeah, maybe we can talk about that some more next time. I wanna ask you before we go. What is an advice or a life motto that you live by that you want to give out to the people that are tuned in or watching this later? My whole thing is, I tell everybody, it's kind of one, don't be afraid to fail. I think everybody has a problem of not failing and don't want to fail. And you only learn by failing. You're going to make mistakes. Nobody's going to come out of this and it's the first time they did something and it worked. You get a few, but if they have the right people around them, that can happen. But my whole thing is, and I always do panels and I do kind of workshop with kids, and the whole thing is like, don't be afraid to fail. Just go out, take that. We're getting into a world where trying to protect the little babies from not hurting themselves. Sometimes they need that. So they can be stronger and be prepared for the world, you know? Because shit is not always funny.
No, this
shit
is not
always
funny
good.
games. It's not always good. And if you keep it always fun and good, when they have that issue, and you see that now with a lot of the younger ones, they have an issue they can't solve.
And they all get messed up because of that one issue, because they weren't prepared, they weren't trained, they didn't have the experience on how to handle it. You have to throw kids out in the deep ocean at some point and have them swim on their own.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I think we're as a society, we have some of us has stopped that, and then that became almost like the norm. You can't say that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. No, like you. And, you know, and those are the things I preach a lot.
Yeah.
Even with my daughter and something and stuff like that. My youngest or my oldest, and my youngest is like, I preach these things, man. You know, because it ain't all glitz and glamour.
No,
it ain't always that. You know, you got people that's out there to hurt you.
Yeah. And
you got to be willing to deal with that and how you deal with it.
Yeah.
You know.
You can't control how other people respond, but you can control your own response to that. Yeah. And
those are the words of experience that I've had, because I got to give people the real shit, because that even happens to us as adults.
Yeah.
You know, we're adults. We can't like, you said we're going to do this, and man. So, and it's worse when you do it as adults, because we don't have time to be fucking around.
Right. We do not.
We do not. You going to do this? Let's do this. But you got to do it right. I guess I said enough.
Yeah, this was great. This was amazing. I know, time always flies when I'm having a good time. Thank you again for wanting to talk to me. I'm super excited still. I get all this energy from you. You're a great person. Your energy is just on level 10, and that helps me. Now I gotta calm myself down before I go to sleep. But I really appreciate you, and I'm just so honored to have had you as a guest, and definitely looking forward to build more with you for the future, because there's going to be things happening, and I want to be part of it. So
we got each other's info.
Yes.
Let's make, because I'm going to call on you for some things like,
hey,
let's try this, let's do that.
Please.
This is all new world, man.
Yeah.
And it's a great world. I think personally it's a great world.
Yeah.
I think personally we have some bumps and bruises, but everything ain't always
That's how it works. That's how you move into the new world. Changes, But I'm over here, and everything globally is now tied in. So it doesn't matter anymore where you are. But let's take over the world one day at a time.
Now when you understand it, when I hear people that really understand it and have a like a focus behind it, now I believe you. Got people saying that and they don't have nothing behind it. I just want to take over the world. Well, why? Because I just want to take over the world.
No, because you want to be able to move the right way and reach your goals with what you want to do by moving in the way that the world works now. With that said, Keith, again, I fucking love you, man. You're amazing. I'm so happy I got to talk to you. But we'll be in touch. So. All
right, Paige, thanks a lot, man. And thanks for having me. Anytime we want to, we're going to build anyway.
Yes.
And somebody say, okay, Pinky in the brain.
I know, right? Who am I?
That was funny for tonight. All right, so anytime I'm here, let's keep this party going.
Yes. Thank you so much. I have to politely ask you to see yourself out, because I don't have the button anymore.
Let me see myself out, and I'll see you later.
Thank you.
See your people. Stay strong.
Thanks. Oh my gosh, this was so amazing. If I thought I was tired before I started this talk, I literally got this boost of energy right now. I don't know if you guys are able to tell, but oh my gosh, yes, Pinky in the Brain coming soon. To a digital channel near you, I guess. Oh my gosh, I'm still on a high. That was amazing. I haven't even asked him everything I wanted to ask him, but that's okay. We'll probably be back at some point. This was the Wednesday edition. I'll be back next Monday with a comedian. I have a comedian on Monday. Yes, I got to switch it up a little bit, can't always get the same people. We got to stay motivated by different creative people to see different sides of everybody's brains. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope everybody is safe. I hope you guys have a wonderful and productive day. And yeah, it was great seeing everybody and all the familiar faces. I appreciate every one of you, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.